I'm at Redcliff Plantation State Historic Site and Park. I'm gonna walk their trail today, go look at their big historic plantation house and whatever else is left here. I know they got a good bit of damage you can see up front already when Hurricane Helene come through. We're gonna check it out. Never been here before. So several of the state parks I've been to so far, I'd already been to quite a few times. This is my first appearance. So let's see what it's got to offer. I'm gonna start out here as soon as you come through the gate. They've got the walking trail. So I just went ahead. There were some people here when I got here. Went ahead and parked here at the walking trail. I'm gonna walk the walking trail all the way to the historic buildings and stuff in the back. Maybe they'll let us go through and see the inside of those. If they do, cool. I'll record it. If not, we'll at least make sure we get our stamp. So I'm bringing you along like always. Kind of dense trail, but pretty nice. It says it's 1.7 miles long. I can already see magnolias and stuff, which is typical and traditional of these old southern plantations. And if you have a magnolia in your yard, you'll know that one magnolia will lead to you having a whole bunch of other magnolias off in the woods because they put off a lot of seeds and stuff. But it is pretty. So it looks like there's a good bit of elevation change that's going to happen because this slopes down over here quite a bit, and in front of me it's going downhill. I passed two of the people that were on the trail, and they mentioned that there's a cemetery out in these woods, because the older lady that I ran into, she said that she had seen it and been to it before. I told her, I said, I've never been here, so my first experience. And then we pulled up the little park map to try to see where that might be. And, well, it wasn't listed on the park map. Now, I will say, there's a big brick wall right there. And that might be the cemetery. That is the cemetery. So evidently she was right. And they just didn't walk far enough, because this isn't listed on the park or as a part of the park, but it's definitely a cemetery right there. That's interesting. So that must have been what that lady was talking about. Just slightly off the path. If they'd have gone 2 more bends down the trail, they'd have come straight up to it. That's why, you know me, I always push further than I really should. So I'm gonna get back on the trail. It was probably maybe 50 yards off the trail, if that. Interesting. Be respectful. I'm not gonna go in there and bother that grave site because they don't have it listed on the official trail. So this is pretty good here. So a lot of these trails you get on, you don't know how far you've been and everything. This one lets you know. It's been a quarter of a mile at this point, and the trail is 1.7 miles long. This trail is also extremely well maintained. Looks like they come down here with a four-wheeler or a golf cart or a gator or something and probably keep it maintained. So it's really, really easy to walk. We've got quite a bit of elevation change going on now, which concerns me a little bit because it's like the old adage. What goes up must come down. It works the other way too. What goes down eventually has to get back to the top to get back to his truck. So even though walking downhill isn't terrible right now, I am a little concerned that the upscale backwards might get me, but maybe it won't be that bad. What am I complaining for? It's only a 1.7 mile trail. I need to lose some weight. Well, if you can see it, you ought to be able to now. Half a mile. Now, they did have a warning about like kind of sinkholes and stuff, and it's not a big sinkhole. They were like, please don't step in the holes. I think that's what they meant. I've seen those holes before, my outdoorsman. So like, in my experience seeing those holes, what it was, and this might not always be the case, but like when you had those historic growth pine trees and stuff, and they came through here and they logged all those big trees, when that stump eventually died and rotted out, it will create quite a big hole for a big tree. And those, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, those holes like what we saw back there, that's typically what that's from. Now they can develop for other reasons, whether it be, you know, hollowed out runoff and stuff like that, and old buildings, and you know, you could have old old sewages and old wells and stuff. But the way that one looked, I would say it was probably an old tree that got cut down and the stump rotted out. Cool though. Just past the bench, in case you needed a rest. I've seen probably 3 or 4 of those so far. And I will say that this is pretty close to the road because you can see houses and stuff back there. And you can definitely hear the cars. But we're making a turn. It looks like coming down to a body of water. We are 3/4 of a mile in. I did not realize that there was a pond on this place. But it looks like there's a pond down there. And I'm really kind of hopeful that the trail takes us to that pond. But I do not know if it does or not. It's very bluish, I will say that. I'm gonna follow the trail and see if it takes us down to the pond. It kind of looks like it does. Because there's an open spot down there kind of on the beachy part of it. So I'm assuming it kind of swoops back through. And then when I get there, I'm gonna show you the pond. So I think it's leading us over the little culvert here whose water runs into that pond, but it's really heavy in this river cane. Yep. So this is the valley. And then this culvert here, it's dry right now. So I don't know if it's a drainage ditch or just a wet weather kind of spring runoff. But this is the culvert that goes down to that pond we just saw. Now it's leading us up and back around. I think it's gonna take us back down to that pond. Like I said, I've never been on this trail, so I'm just guessing at this point. So here we have another little culvert that goes kind of through the little trail area and down to it. To me, the interesting part of this part of the country, or this part of the state, is that you get the mountainous feel of it, of the state, without really having all the big boulders. So like, you get your hills and valleys, but it's mostly just clay. Now, the path keeps going that way. We'll get back on the path, and the 1 mile mark is literally right there. And I'll show you that when we get back to it. But then they have this little side path that leads down here to the pond, which is low. Because I imagine it comes up to about right here where you can see some of the wetness during different weather. And I bet those trees even get submerged at some point if it really rains. But it's a nice looking little pond. I bet there's some fish in here. I don't know what the regulations are as far as fishing out here, but I'm sure they've got some kind of stipulation. That's probably also why they make you walk a mile to get here. So now everybody's not snatching all the fish out the pond. It's not a huge pond, but it's big enough for a fish to live in. I can see some little minnows swimming. Being the fisherman I am, I had to walk over here to the laydowns and try to peer around them to see if I could see some fish swimming. I don't, but I guarantee you there's some fish in here, especially on that big laydown over yonder. Anyways, let's get back to the trail. So as I come out away from the pond, here's the 1 mile marker. It's a pretty view of the trail going upwards. We're finally out of sight of the pond. We made the curve, and we're just walking the trail. Coming up on 1.25 miles. Means about a half more mile to go. A really pretty tree. I'm trying to figure out what kind of tree that is. Don't know, it's not coming to me. If you know what kind of tree it is, drop it in the comments. Let me know. This must be for the trail coming in when it comes in this way. To let you know it goes here. Looks like there's a falling down stake too. I don't think it wants me to walk there, so up the hill we go. And we're up on the 1.5 mile marker. Back on top of the hill, you can see down. 0.2 miles till we get to the big plantation house. You can see through the tunnel. It's the exit. It's the exit of the trail. So I made it to the end of the trail. You can see it marked there. They do have it where you can park down here if you'd rather start here and end the other direction. It's also good to note who the project engineers of the trail were. They did a pretty good job. And it is foot traffic only. No bicycles, horses, or motorized vehicles on this particular trail. Now as you exit the trail down here, you're gonna go to your left, and that takes you back to the main buildings and stuff and towards your car, which is still a good little clip of a walk if you're walking back to your car up top. But I'm gonna go check out the different plantation buildings and stuff around here. I'm gonna buy some giant magnolia trees. There's a bunch of them out here in the open field. And I'm walking up towards the actual plantation down this little trail. I just got off of the walking or hiking trail. It was 1.7 miles. There's some pretty cool crepe myrtles right there. A couple other little cypress trees, or not cypress, cedar trees. Cedar trees up yonder. Now I really have no idea where I'm going, other than I know that the big places up there. I think this is like a personal residence right here, probably for where the people that manage the state park stay. But from the back trail up to here, there's not really a marked place for you to go. You can kind of see where people ride their cars sometimes. So that's kind of what I'm following without trying to aggravate anybody. Anyways, also see some pretty big cactus up there. That's kind of cool. Big old holly tree. A couple big old holly trees. Holly trees. Brings me back to having to paddle through all those holly trees on the Edisto. Very prickly. They hurt a lot. Little kiosk up yonder. I think I'm going to go straight for the big plantation house. Now I don't know if they let you tour it or walk through it, or if you have to be on a specialized tour to go through it, but I'm going to at least go and look at it and say, whoa, that's big, because it is big. And this is a massive pecan tree. Jesus Christ. Looks like somebody was buried here. They would definitely have a good view off that back deck. I did read that, like I said, they've had some outbuildings and stuff fall. Looks like this one fell here. Could have been that tree that fell on it that you see cut down there. And look at here. It says, here's my outdoor stamp. Let's go ahead and get this stamped. So I got my stamp. Got it squared up as best I can. Gonna give it a stamp. Lined it up pretty well. A little OCD about how my stamps line up, so I like it when I get it right. Another one in the book. I'd really like to walk up there, but they do have it blocked off. So they evidently don't want you to actually enter the house. Or if they do, they don't want you to enter it from this side. I'm gonna do a 360 on the house to see if there is an entrance point that they let the public go in, but I don't think they do. Check out the massive oak tree. Pretty cool little rocking chair setup right there. Like I said, the overview from the back porch here probably would be the best part of it. It does look like I don't have this blocked off. Let's walk up here and see. Massive set of stairs. Freshly painted too, I can smell it. Wow. I think that's like a Carolina jasmine or something right there. I'm not really perfect with plant names, so please forgive me. But it is a heck of a view. You can see everything from the top to heel. Massive windows. And a heck of a breeze. And I bet they had ferns hanging on every single one of them hooks. You see down in the valley here, got you a nice rocking chair to chill on. I'm not brave enough to try to enter the door because I feel like they probably don't want you to enter, but man, got one of those cactuses at my house. To me, they're aggravating, but it is a heck of a view. Well, I Googled it. You can enter the house, but only through guided tour, and availability on that varies. You have to check the website. So at least I got to go up on the porch. We're gonna check out some of these other buildings. So this is the stables, and the stables is a pretty cool looking building. I like the old glass in the windows, and they actually have a scannable here on the window so that you can watch about the stables and get educated. They are locked, so you can't go inside, but unless you're really short, kind of like me, you can at least peer into them through the windows. Here we go. It's probably your best view. Let me show it to you. So, kind of peer in them like that. Looks like they have some kind of reading thing there that they probably put up so the wind would stop blowing it up over. But it's a heck of a stable. That's better built than a lot of houses I've seen. All right, so I watched a little video on the stable. Then next to the stable, they have this. I have no idea what this is, but it's like Almost looks like a tank, but made out of brick. So I don't know if it was like a cistern or a well or something like that. It's a really big oak tree. Kind of looks like an angel oak almost. And then we got this building over here. They put a nifty solar panel on that joker. Looks like I can walk in this one. They got it undone. I think I saw the guy giving a tour up there, but he only had one fellow with him. So I didn't join on. I kind of like self-guided stuff. Let's check this out. All right. Gives a lot of information in here about the plantation system and forced movements and freedom speakers, health and medicine, and life after emancipation, honoring the ancestors, voting, education, reconstruction, and black codes, and the long-term residents, I guess even after slavery had ended, that decided to stay here. I have one of those stoves in one of my greenhouses. I could use another one. A lot to read in here, some heavy history too. But if you have the time, stop by, read it, for sure. This is a beautifully built building. I would live in something like this. Anyways, on to the next building. I had to come to the kiosk to orientate myself. I think I've seen almost all the buildings. I am gonna go down here and check out the little gift shop area. And then I think I'm just gonna walk the Magnolia Trail back up to the truck. Can't go over there, that's private access or whatever. So that's probably just where the rangers here live, one of them or something. Let's check out what we got here. So this is their farm equipment in the 20th century exhibit. I guess that's a lot of horse-drawn stuff. Interesting. I feel like I've used some of that stuff on our farm, to be honest with you. But kind of cool. So this is their visitor center area. It's got a water fountain, even has a place for dogs. Little picnic table. Cute little building. I think I'd be nosy. Oh, see, I should have got me one of these. I probably should have started here. Got me a park map. See, I'll give you the rundown. Obviously, we're here at the visitor center. We checked out the main thing. We did the whole trail around because we started here and it goes all the way here. That was my first video. We walked back up, checked out the main house, the stable, slave quarters. They do label all the type of trees around here, but I'm gonna walk that Magnolia Trail back here and then back to the truck when I'm done with this. Also looks like they have the park stamp here at this location. That one's a little different. Interesting. Went ahead and did the second stamp too on top of the first one. Thought it was cool. So looks like they're doing, like I said, thought I saw the guy doing the tour earlier. So the visitor center's closed because he's doing that tour. So that was a park ranger doing that, but you could tell they have an exhibit kind of in there. It does say the grounds are open for free, 9 to 6 daily. And then there's your tour times. I could have gone on the 3 o'clock one, and I didn't even know it. Oh well, maybe another time. It is what it is. Now, I'm gonna head for the Magnolias up top, and I'll walk that trail out back to my truck, and then I'm heading to the house. Let's check out and see what that looks like. Now, from what I read, this place had a lot of vineyards back in the day, so they have some remnants here. Of course, they've got some rosemary growing here. Looks like they have patches of other stuff. And they've got this kind of gardeny thing here, where it talks about the pharmacy gardens and the African American heritage gardens they had here at the place. It's pretty neat. It's got some of the stuff labeled. I'm sure in the spring you'll have a lot more pop up. Got a little thing here commemorating the Magnolia Avenue. Looks like they're still working on clearing it some from the trees that fell. Behind me is the entrance here, the original entrance. You got the metal gate and stuff, but the trees have fallen over it and they hadn't got it cleared up yet. This pretty much completes the whole walk. The plantation owner here was a terrible person, but we were able to walk through. They have all the information of the terrible atrocities he did in that one building. Go check it out. Now I'm finished up here, so y'all take care, and Lord willing, I will see you next time.